Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. I don't know if I can't remember if I made a video on this before or not, to be honest. So I'll just make it again. Here goes me later. Um, right, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. I just typed in Bosnia Pyramid on Google here. I've known about this for ages, to be honest. Like fuck knows, 10 years or something. And um, I don't, I could just say I can't remember if I made a video on it before. So basically, the story goes: a guy was on a plane. He was flying over this area of Bosnia, and he was looking out of the plane down at this, what we can see in the picture here, which is a mountain. But he was looking at this mountain as he was flying along, and decided, hold on a minute, that's not a fucking mountain. It's got right angles, and as you can see here, it's got fucking right angles. Four of the bastards. So yeah, here we have the fucking Bosnia Pyramid. Dun, dun, dun. It's covered in dirt and trees, and it's been lost. And if you go to YouTube, there is a very good documentary about the person who found this and them starting to excavate this site. And yeah, look, there's also another three pyramids in the surrounding area, also covered in trees and dirt. And yeah, they've all been lost to time, and nobody knew there were pyramids till these guys found them. And as you can see from the picture clearly, and the pictures to the left as well, it's clearly a pyramid. It's got right angles. It's got at least three. We can see in the picture, and we just can't see the other side of the mountain. But it is more piled up on that side. I do know. I've seen the picture of it. But as you can see, it's got right. Nature doesn't do right angles like that. That's man-made pyramid that's been covered by dirt and trees and thousands of years. And basically, they started to excavate the bottom of the pyramid. The guy, and you could go and volunteer and help the guy do it as well. If that was an option, I don't know if he's still doing it, and you still can. This is all in the documentary. You can go and watch on YouTube. And basically, they started to excavate the bottom of it. They found tunnels going for 12,000 kilometers, possibly. I think you'd have to watch the documentary for the actual detailed facts. They found a leaf when they dug up a certain part at the bottom of the pyramid, a bit like they've done here. This is a picture here of them excavating at the bottom here, digging up the bottom, and it's fully pyramided right down this mountainside to the very bottom. And when they dug up down the bottom and they lifted up a stone, they found a leaf that had been there and petrified or whatever. This leaf had been there for since they put the rock down, basically. So they carbon dated the leaf, and it was 12,000 years old. This leaf, so they believe this pyramid to be over 12,000 years old. And it's been covered in. I mean, this goes maybe into Noah's flood and a massive flood coming over the earth and mud and everything being washed all over these pyramids. And then eventually foliage and trees started to grow over time, and obviously that's what's now left with just a mountain, but underneath that mountain is a pyramid the same size as the pyramid in Egypt. In fact, I think it's bigger than the pyramid in Egypt. um, yeah, and it's four pyramids in that area in Bosnia, um, that's bigger than the pyramids of Giza, that are not known about by most people in the world. To be honest, I tell people about this all the time, and they've never heard of it. And we found pyramids in Bosnia as big as Giza. They haven't told everybody because they're trying to cover it up, because it leads you to believe, because they tried to claim 12,000 years ago. There is a film called 12,000 BC, and they tried to claim 12,000 years ago we were trying to figure out fire. Now, this would suggest we were not trying to figure out fire. We fucking knew we knew a lot of shit 12,000 years ago if we're building this shit, and we don't know how old the Pyramid of Giza is. So basically, the history of the planet is a lie, and whatever happened on this planet 12,000 years ago, we do not know, or we're not being told, but were not trying to figure out fire. They were building pyramids like this that have been covered over in time, and some sort of catastrophe to the planet, by the looks of it, has covered this thing in dirt, and then eventually, again, it's all grown over it. And because until you sort of took a photo from the aerial views like we have here, it's hard to make out this is a pyramid as much when you're on the ground in the town and you're a little speck of dust down in that town, if you know what I mean, and looking up at it, it just looks like a mountain probably. But the guy in a plane seeing the right angles, so we've got aerial pictures here showing you the right angles of this mountain, which doesn't happen. A mountain doesn't have right angles, and it doesn't have three of them. So it's a pyramid, and we know it's a pyramid because they've dug it up at the base here on the right in the picture, and it's there, it's cladding, it's pladded pyramid right down. Maybe not the same as the Pyramid of Giza was, but it's still a pyramid in essence. And yeah, it's 12,000 years old or more, and basically the big questions here are is what the fuck happened on this planet. Then I've kind of went into it. It's in like the, I mean, again, it's kind of known the history, even in sort of the Nebrew, and I need to do a video on that, on the Nebrew and the Anunnaki, like that. That explains a bit of history as well, but like in another version. But there's things in there that make sense, and it's I don't know, but it was translated from Sumerian tablets, like 6,000 years old. And whether some of it's right or some of it's wrong, that it sounds like there's some truth in it, in terms of like the solar system and things like this. And it's weird, but it's very interesting to me. It's all very interesting because it's like I've said about the ancient apocalypse. Like it's as if this planet goes through systematic catastrophes that wipe us out, and we have to start again, and then we get wiped out, and we start again after a couple of thousand years. And that's why we sort of get to this level of technology we're at now, and we start putting everything on computer chips and things like that, and it all gets destroyed when the cataclysm comes, and the only thing truly left behind is anything that we carved into stone. And like these pyramids and Pyramid of Giza, they remain because they were structures strong enough, and they could last the sands of time basically. But none of these computer chips we have now and PlayStations and PCs, will come a major cataclysm, they'll all be gone in 100 years. They'll all be ground back down to dust. You know what I mean? So it'll all be lost to time. Yet we carve things in stone, it won't. And to me, that's kind of what happens with this planet. It's kind of like we have a systematic catastrophe that wipes us out, and we start again. And we've been doing this for God knows how long. But perhaps the Pyramid of Giza was one people's. This pyramid here was another. The tale of a city of Atlantis was another one that's been destroyed. Again, an advanced civilization that got wiped out, and we had to start again. And it makes a lot of sense, to be honest. It makes a lot of sense when I've seen all the ancient apocalypse stuff that was on Netflix and that. I already kind of thought this kind of what was happening to the planet, and there kind of is some evidence for it, to be honest, as well. And it's like all the questions of how did these people build these structures with no technology when they were trying to figure out fire. And the answer is they weren't. They had technology as good as we did, but it all got wiped out. Even like if we had a car and there was a major cataclysm now, the car in God knows how many hundreds of years would be gone. You know what I mean? Like the Titanic at the bottom of the sea is eventually deteriorating, and then it'll be gone, and eventually time will destroy everything and take it hundreds or thousands of years. It'll all be gone, and we're back to nothing. But once, say for instance, you do have a car left after the cataclysm, but you've got no petrol and petrol pumps or places to make petrol, so the car's kind of useless after a bit. And eventually it will just sit there, rot and decay, and then eventually give it hundreds or thousands of years, it will decay back to nothing. And we don't know the time scale we're talking here. We're talking maybe 12,000 years. Well, that's how old the leaf was, 12,000 years. But how old's the pyramid? Do you know what I mean? That's just how old the leaf was that was put underneath a rock when something was happening at the bottom of the pyramid. So we don't know, you know what I mean? We don't know. But I just think it's very interesting, the Bosnia Pyramid, or pyramids, and a lot of people don't know about them. And again, it's kind of like they're trying to keep history from us, because they claim 12,000 years ago we were trying to figure out fire. And evidence would suggest we were not trying to figure out fire 12,000 years ago. We were very, very advanced, and something has happened, and we have to start again. Is kind of the best theory for what's going on here. And could we be up for another one of these events? That's the next question. And how long till it? We don't know. But yeah, all the underground bunkers and the governments, and do they know something? That's the big question. But yeah, the Bosnia Pyramid, I'll leave it there. But very interesting to me, the Bosnia Pyramid, and a lot of people don't know about it. So go and have a look at that. YouTube, good documentary. Peace.